saying, what we're really trying to do here is a separate trail. And so that's unfortunate, because that's where we're headed, and now we're just dealing with the space that we have available.
Thanks, Dave.
Can I just clarify one thing? Lara, under our Public Act, could not condemn property. Now, maybe the city could, but in our, correct me if I'm wrong, Betsy, but in our, whatever, I don't know the exact Public Act that we were created under, we cannot condemn property. I want to make that clear from the get-go. Thank you.
Yep.
Can I ask Dave to go back up to the podium? I hate to do it to him. I did it to him the other night. And I have some questions for him, and I think there's nobody better to answer them.
Could you come for the record?
Yeah, I'm Mark Anderson, 4350 Maple Run. I'm in the Lowell Township, the Lowell Recreation Authority, and I'm also on the Park Authority. I have a question for Dave, and I think some of these folks asked this was, first one I'd like to know is, what year was Phase 1 installed?
Correct me if I'm wrong, Jody and Betsy, but I think we actually cut the ribbon in 11, was it?
It was
2011, yeah.
And what shape is the trail in today?
It's in pretty good shape. I was on it the other day, and annually we have to seal cracks and take care of some root issues that folks identified, but it's pretty good shape. Laura invested a few $1,000s a couple of years ago to seal the trail.
So is there any parts of the trail that are crumbling or falling apart at this point?
Well, there's a couple areas, like I said, with tree roots that need attention this season, but nothing extraordinary.
I think this is a big one. The maintenance plan. Who's all involved in the maintenance plan, and who's part of this mix to take care of this? Who are we partnering with?
That's been a big issue, especially with new staff at the city who've inherited these things, and we had that thing called winter that came and went, who's going to plow what. But recently, as you recall, the city and Laura and the schools signed a cooperative agreement for the maintenance of the trails. The primary responsibility, Laura has accepted that responsibility with support from the member communities, the city and the 2 townships. Mr. Fowler are correct, however, and the grant programs as a part of their checklist of approving this grant, they have the same questions as Mr. Munt and Mr. Fowler do, is how are you going to maintain this? It's very important, and I think our neighbors in Belding and Ionia who just went through this grant process, this was a big part of it. They want to know the maintenance plan, and they want to know how you're going to fund it. And it's not an insignificant cost. I think compared to the capital costs that you're getting, it's reasonable, but I think those are legitimate questions that the 3 communities have to answer. But we have a cooperation arrangement here. In addition, because of the connection, you are now a part of the Fred Meyer River Valley Rail Trail system. The Meyer Foundation donated, I think it was $3 million, for an endowment for maintenance within that 125-mile section. And while you don't get an annual amount from it, as a member of that system, you're able to go to the Trail Authority and request distributions from that endowment for the purpose of maintenance.
The last thing I had was, we were talking at our last meeting about moving the poles, and we were talking about waivers for the width of the trail. And have we applied for that MDOT waiver?
Yeah, it's too early in the process to ask. Typically when we're designing these things and we run into an obstacle, there's a process called a design exception that you could formally ask for. We're not at that point yet, we're just asking for money. But we have made a formal request to MDOT and given them photographs and survey information for Bowes Road and said, is there in this instance, because we have some folks who are concerned, is there a possibility for us to be able to narrow the trail less than the AASHTO standards? And I don't have a response from them as of today. Their initial response was, at the grant level, the grant folks usually don't like to make those variances. So they say, yeah, we run into this all the time. Keep working at it. Keep working at it. So we don't have an official, but we're asking.
I guess my point is we're continually trying and exploring different options and trying to make the least amount of impact on the residents on Bowes Road, whether it be the width of the trail, whether it be the type of pavement, whether it be trees or shrubs or grass. I mean, we're trying to address those, and we've been continually meeting with residents along the road, and I think we're meeting a lot of their needs, but we're also listening to them, and we're trying every possible way to put this trail down there with the least amount of impact. I'm sorry I didn't write my name down there, but I just took some notes. Thank you.
Thanks. Well, with that, I'll thank everybody for coming out. I hope that your questions got answered. It was nice to see so many people come out. I'm all for this trail, but I'm also opposed to impeding on anybody's rights or shoving it down anybody's throat. And I don't think that either one of the trail-related items are going to do that. So if there's nothing else, I'll look for a motion to close the public hearing on the trail agreement.
So moved. Support.
Sue?
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Canfield,
Yes.
Mayor DeVore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl,
No.
Councilmember Phillips.
Yes.
All right, item 5B, resolution 818, Lara Trail Agreement. Mike?
As the city is making the grant request to the Michigan Department of Natural Resources for the proposed trail, one of the parameters of the DNR Trust Fund grant is that whatever the grant is being used for must remain as public land in perpetuity. The DNR has informed us of an instance where an authority was created and a grant for a trail was provided and the authority was dissolved, thus no guarantee that the land will remain public. In order to ensure this event doesn't occur, an amendment is being made to the original Articles of Incorporation of the Lowell Area Recreational Authority and will be presented to the city, Lowell Township, and Virgins Township. In your pack is an addendum that states that if the Lowell Area Recreation Authority dissolves, the trail will revert ownership toward the municipality where the trail lies. Language set forth in the pack meet the requirements set forth by the DNR. I'm recommending that the Lowell City Council approve Resolution 818 stating that the city will maintain ownership of the trail and keep the land as public land if the Lowell Area Recreation Authority were to ever dissolve.
I'll make a motion that the city council approve resolution 818 stating that the city will maintain ownership of the trail and keep the land as public land if the Lowell Area Recreational Authority were ever to dissolve.
I'll support.
Discussion on it, questions? Sue?
Councilmember Canfield,
Yes.
Mayor DeVore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers.
Yes.
Item C, resolution 918, Lara's DNR grant.
As part of generating funding for the construction of the proposed Lowell Area Recreational Authority River Valley Trail Lowell Connection Project, they will be seeking grant funding. One of these grant sources will be the Michigan Department of Natural Resources Trust Fund grant. The DNR Trust Fund grant provides a grantee up to $300,000 for a project that meets the DNR Trust Fund guidelines. Both Lara and the city can submit coinciding grant requests totaling $600,000 for the project. While there is a proposed plan for where the trail will go, those plans can be modified and will not impact whether or not the grant is denied. I recognize that there are some issues regarding the layout of the trail and working with some property owners. Those issues can be worked out on by Lara if we submit the grant. At a later date, if council does not want to move forward because of dissatisfaction of the residents with the trail, we can choose that option. At a later date, a final presentation will be made by Lara regarding the trail for the city council to formally approve and place in the city right away. If we wait to pursue the grant until those issues are worked out to completion, the longer we will have to wait to see if we are eligible. If we receive the grant and there's dissatisfaction on moving forward with the trail, we simply do not move forward with the project and don't accept the grant. From a policy perspective, I do hope there's a positive solution as this trail has been planned for the past 10 years. I recommend that the City Council approve Resolution 0918 for the city to apply for a DNR trust fund grant for the River Valley Trail Lowell Connection Project.
I'll recommend that the city council approve resolution 918 for the city to apply for a DNR trust fund grant for the River Valley Trail Lowell Connection Project.
And I'll support.
Discussion on. Sue?
Mayor DeVore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Canfield.
Yes.
Okay. Item now D, LCT Endowment Fund. I believe Dennis is here still. Dennis Kent is going to present us with the recommendations.
I am still here. I am Dennis Kent, Chair of the Lowell Cable TV Endowment Board, and I live at 1700 Faith Drive in Lowell. And first of all, I'd like to thank all the members of the board for their continued commitment and involvement in this process and the time they take to review these applications. I also want to thank Sue and Teresa in particular and city staff for helping us put this together. We have made some recommendations, and we are our role is to recommend to the city council what we think should be funded out of those that applied for this. We have 9 grants we're proposing, and 3 that were rejected, either due to being able to be delayed, or 1 we determined was not eligible. It was a good program, but not eligible. If I can just go through these quick for you. I don't know if do you have this in your packet, or? Okay. I can read through them for the public comment if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. One was administrative expenses for the city. It's an ongoing expense. Another one was Flat River Outreach Ministry, phone system lighting upgrade, Englehart Library, a reading garden proposal or facility with the library, the Grand Rapids Amateur Astronomical Association purchasing a golf cart to help people with mobility difficulties to access their facilities. Chamber of Commerce and Lowell, Greater Lowell Foundation, Chamber Foundation, Lowell Area Chamber of Commerce, new stage and cover and equipment. Let's see, Lowell Recreational Authority, we provided some funding. Some of these, this grant does not pay for the whole price by any means, similar to what you were talking about before. But this is a contribution toward the trail from along Alden Nash from G to M21. Lowell area schools, Bushnell playground upgrade. Lowell area schools, some equipment for their radio station, and then a heating and cooling unit for the Lowell Arts. I think that covers them all. And that's our recommendation to you.
An update, right? Doesn't require a vote.
No, it does require a vote.
Does it?
There was a recommendation from them too.
Okay, well, I'll move that we approve the LCTV recommendation.
I'll support.
Discussion? Sue?
For those who applied and didn't get their grants, please apply again next year. I mean, it was close. It was tough decisions to make that being my first year, so recommend if you try again next year.
Good, thanks, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Sue?
Councilmember Salzweedl,
Yes.
Councilmember Phillips,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Canfield,
Yes.
and Mayor DeVore.
Yes. Item E, Resolution 1018, service credit purchase for Rich LeBar.
Rich LeBar has requested to purchase 5-year service credit towards his defined benefit pension that he is eligible to receive in the city of Lowell. Michigan Municipal Employees Retirement System, MERS, allows for an employee to purchase up to 5 years generic time and transfer service time from other Act 88 MERS entities into another plan. MERS members have the option to purchase service credits to to help meet an early retirement eligibility or to increase their pension. Mr. LeBombard has 13 years and 9 months of service in a defined contribution plan offered by MERS. Those service years count towards his time in the MERS system, but they are now accounted for currently in a defined benefits pension. The estimated cost for Mr. LeBombard to purchase 5 years of service credit is $68,249. There is no cost to the city. Payment for this purchase will be made by rolling over funds from his defined contribution plan into the city's defined benefit plan. The rates charged is done so based on a number of actuarial assumptions, and the resolution 1018 is there for you. In order to process this request, the governing body must approve the purchase, and there is a resolution on the second page of the document that would need to be signed by the mayor if approved. We are not making a recommendation on this matter.
This is exactly the same purchase
Correct.
that you made in
Correct.
December?
Correct.
I move that we would approve resolution 1018 and allow Rich to make that service credit purchase.
I'll support.
Discussion, Sue?
Councilmember Phillips,
Yes.
Councilmember Chambers,
Yes.
Councilmember Canfield,
Yes.
Mayor DeVore,
Yes.
Councilmember Salzweedl.
Yes.
All right. Board and commission reports, Jeffrey?
I don't have anything new to report.
Mr. Salzweedl?
Our next LCTV fund meeting is December 7th.
Mr. Canfield?
I hope to attend a LAR meeting, so.
Mr. Chambers?
Low Light Power, we approved the purchase of a mini excavator to get rid of our big, old, clunky, 30-year-old backhoe. We'll be able to do a lot more. It's faster, it's just more economical to run, so that'll be good.
Mine were canceled except for the vision meeting, which is Wednesday. It's Tuesday, which is what I said, clearly. And that's all I have on that. Questions on any of the monthly reports? Makes it your turn.
Couple items to report. We are in the process of refreshing the website. When we awarded the contract with Revise, they are now currently working on the plan to redevelop the site. We anticipate the site to be completed probably sometime in the next 11 to 12 weeks. We began work on it this week. At our last Downtown Development Authority meeting, we brought back the downtown plan that was created in 2015. That plan was never approved, and based on some of the transitions that occurred, it just was something that they've never been able to, the city council and the DDA have never been able to finalize. So some revisions to that plan are being made currently at the DDA, and they will be making a recommendation to the city council at a later date on that plan. As we are aware, Governor Snyder did declare a declaration of disaster for Kent County, those impacted by the flooding. Here in Lowell, we would be eligible for that. We have yet to receive word as to what that entails. I do plan on reaching out later this week to Kent County. My understanding is that there were federal officials here this week from FEMA doing assessments as well. We are currently working on the budget. You will receive the budget on the third Monday of April as prescribed by the charter, and we will have our budget hearing, our budget meeting on Saturday, April 28th at 10 a.m. at Lowell Light Power. Also a reminder that Lou Bender will be here on Wednesday the 28th.
That was Wednesday. I knew there was a Wednesday.
That'll be beginning at 5 o'clock at the fire station. That's all I have.
All right, thank you. You were right, it is tomorrow. Okay, no appointments. Council comments, Jeffrey?
I'd like to thank all staff and departments for their hard work, and I'd like to thank the citizens for coming out and communicating with us. We really appreciate your input, and the first Saturday of every month we have coffee with council, and Councilman Marty there provides a nice cup of coffee. Please stop down and see us.
Thanks, good.
I'm good. And what flavor are you going to have this month?
What do you want? We have 27 flavors. Pick
That's a
one.
dangerous guy to ask.
I'm good.
Greg?
Just like to congratulate Mark and Teresa on their retirement, and thanks for your service to the community. You've both done a great job for a lot of years. Sorry we got this little bump in the road at your retirement party, but we'll get through this and find a solution that works for everybody. Encourage the community to come out. Lowell Expo coming up, great thing for the community, so don't miss that.
All right. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out tonight. That's what it's all about when you sit up here. You take the shots and you try to move forward and do the best you can do. I do appreciate everybody that spoke tonight, and I heard all of you. That's it.
Thank you. Well, I would like to congratulate Mark and Teresa too. And listen, if you have questions on the trail, go to Lara. They're not new. They know exactly what they're talking about. They're not going to give you the answer you want to hear. They're not going to, twist it to make it fit your agenda. They're going to give you the answer, and it's going to be fact-based. And there's a lot of work that's been put into this. So don't be afraid to go to them with questions. That's all I have. Jim?
With that, I adjourn at 9:02. Make a motion.
Support.
All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes.